Barigani, meaning what's the news? Matunda ya Kwanzaa, the holiday of the first fruits of the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. This is Price Mixing It Up. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm Pamela. DIY gardening. Real talk topics. Cooking and mixing in the kitchen. Travel and trips. On the water, on the plane, on the road, on the train. Habarigani. My name is Pamela Price. I'm a Price Mixing It Up. Can I get a woot woot? So we're here to talk about Kwanzaa today. And I always say we're because I include you as well as myself. Over the years, my family celebrated Kwanzaa. We started celebrating Kwanzaa around 1981. And we celebrated Kwanzaa in the beginning, not understanding Kwanzaa. So that's why I want to come to you today on my channel at YouTube, Price Mixing It Up. Thank you for checking in. And share with you Kwanzaa, what Kwanzaa is, how it was developed when in the USA, and how can you celebrate Kwanzaa as an individual, family, community, society. So that's what I'm coming here today for. Today is December 26th. Kwanzaa is a 7-day African American celebration. It was developed for African Americans, Black people, to celebrate, to understand what it means and what it's about. Today is 2023. Kwanzaa can be celebrated by anyone of any ethnicity. It's inclusive, it's not exclusive. But it gives African Americans a reason for hope, to keep hope alive within the family and community of Black people, African Americans. It's a 7-day celebration. Starts the day after Christmas because at one time folks said, oh, it's a Black Christmas. No, it's not a Black Christmas. It's an African American celebration of life and hope and to move forward. Christmas is December 25th. Kwanzaa starts December 26th, the day after Christmas, for 7 days up through January 1st. There are 7 principles to be shared during Kwanzaa, 1 principle per day. So this last 7 days of the year, you go, you explore, you learn, you understand, you create, you develop a program around Kwanzaa and a celebration of the 7 principles, which I will share with you in a moment. There's a way that you do Kwanzaa in your home, and it's kind of like you have a little schedule. So I have some information here because I don't want you to think I'm making information up. Is that, as I said, my family started celebrating around 1981. I can remember that because my son was born in 1982. And I remember when I first started getting involved, my son was a baby. And the first year I did attend, my aunt, thank you for that, had brought this to us. And so I just want to kind of say what the beginnings of Kwanzaa is. The person who developed it in the United States, his name was Ron Maulana Karenga. And in 1966, it was brought to the USA, the States here. He was a professor And it was in order to create this environment for society for Black folks, African Americans, so that we can be a stronger community and people. I'm not going to say nation, community and people. I wanted to also say that I have a book here to teach kids and for adults to learn. There's so many different books and versions of Kwanzaa, so many different authors. You can go to a local library. You don't have to feel like you have to order a book and pay for it or go to a bookstore and pay for it. You can go to a library, and every library has a selection on Kwanzaa, Black history. And you can read a book, you can share a book with your kids, your grandkids, your neighbor kids, you're a teacher, your kids at school, because it's a cultural tradition now. And this is an awesome book right here. It's called Kwanzaa, and it shows a child on the cover, and it explains it in detail. So I'm gonna read this introduction. The Nguza Saba. So Swahili is the language of the African nation where Kwanzaa was celebrated. And it says Africa is a big continent. Many different African tribes live in Africa, and they have many different customs and beliefs. But all African people know that the fruits of the earth bring life to them. The earth nourishes them, so Africans say the earth is their mother. Africans have always celebrated planting and harvest. But even more important to Africans are the spirits of their ancestors. At harvest time, Africans offer the first fruits of the harvest to those who have gone before them. So this is the essence of Kwanzaa. It's offering the first fruits to our ancestors. We would like our ancestors that have gone before us, that have paved the way for us, to be able to bless us. It's a spiritual concept. And so that's what it's about. It's about just giving honor to those who have gone before us. And that is the reason that it's an African American celebration here in the USA, because we as Black people consider ourselves African American. The celebration for me and my family back in the day, and at that time my grandfather was alive, my great-grandmother was alive. Maybe in another episode of these videos, I'll show you those pictures from our first Kwanzaa in prayer where my great-grandmother was there. And it was to reverence our elders, to honor them, not worship them, honor them, and then to reverence our little ones, our children, raise them up, admonishing our elders. And that is the purpose of Kwanzaa. And that is what it's all about. Reverencing your elders and nourishing your little ones. Okay? Teaching them these 7 principles so they can embody it, grow up to be contributing people in our culture, our community, our families, and with themselves. That's what Kwanzaa is about. There's so many different terms in Swahili that represent everything that you see right here on this mat. And I'll explain those items to you. So Kwanzaa traditionally, wherever you are attending a program, will start with prayer, giving all honor to God. And then it will have song. It will have a libation statement, which libation means liquid. A statement, again, reverencing and honoring our ancestors that have gone before us. So there's some things right here that you see. Let me explain them to you. So Kwanzaa, when we talk about our first fruits, Matunda ya Kwanzaa, holiday of the first fruits. Matunda ya Kwanzaa, holiday of the first fruits. That's the 7 days. You will hear Habari Gani, as you see on this book. Habari Gani means, what's the news of the day? So we have 7 principles, and we have 7 candles on the Kanara. This is the Kanara. These are the 7 candles. We have a black candle representing the people. We have red candles representing the blood that was shed for the people, our ancestors. The red candles represent the ancestors. The green candles represent the prosperity of the land. Green represents the land. So there's 7 candles. Each day of Kwanzaa, you celebrate one principle and you light one candle for that principle. So I'll share with you as we go through this week on my channel, you will see the lighting of the candle every day. And what principle we will be celebrating that day. Okay, thank you for joining me. If you're just checking in, this is Price Mixing It Up. And we are talking about celebration of Kwanzaa. Alrighty, so we first of all have the mazawa. Mazawa is the fruits and vegetables. We talk about holiday of the first fruits. We talk about during this 7-day celebration, giving honor and reverence to our elders and nourishing our young ones. In Africa, during that 7-day celebration, the fruits and the vegetables, the crops, were so important because that's the time that they were planting, sowing and planting. And the 7 days was, again, to celebrate the new harvest that was to come. So that's why we have our fruits and vegetables, our grains here, our nuts. And that is looking forward to prosperity in the new year. Because Kwanzaa, again, is what? December 26th to January 1st. So this whole celebration, 7 days, we're focusing on prosperity. We're focusing on health. We're focusing towards moving forward. We're focusing on new growth, okay? So the placemat that you see here is called a makika, and everything's sitting on the placemat. The placemat represents a foundation. It's a strong foundation. How do we know that? Because all of these items are placed on the mat. So imagine all of our community is sitting together on one foundation, okay? So the makika represents the foundation that the people are standing on. The foundation of their beliefs, the foundation of the standards, the foundation of the values of the community together. It's not just me, then you, and then your house and my house. It's all of us. We strive together to build. Okay? So I'm not going to say too much more on that because then I'll be talking about each principle. The Kanara, I explained, holds the 7 candles. The Vibanzi I do not have represented here are ears of corn. And ears of corn represent children. You know how ears of corn have each little kernel, right? Each little kernel. That's kind of like the child and all of the parts of a child, okay? All of, say we got what, social, emotional, mental, we got psychological, right? We got spiritual, all those pieces of the child, the corn, the Vibanzi. Okay, we want that to grow and be healthy for the new year. That's our crops. Our kids are our crops, y'all. Okay, so then we have a gift, Zawadi. Okay, Zawadi is the gift, Zawadi. At the end of your 7 days, as you've been reverencing your elders and you've been treating them, you've been giving hospitality to them at each celebration, each Kwanzaa experience. At the end of the 7 days, you reverence those kids. You prepare them for prosperity and growth by presenting them with a blessing. And it's a gift. And whatever that gift is, usually it's something that's handmade, so that they can reverence it and just say, you know what? My grandmother gave this to my mother, my auntie. They made it. My uncle gave me this. He crafted it with his very own hands. This is something I'm going to hold on to for life. So the gift, zawadi, is something to be cherished by the children. We have the kikombe, which is the community cup. In the kikombe, there is a libation statement. Remember, I said libation is liquid. There's a statement that you make once you start with the kikombe, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. And then Mashuma'a Saba are the 7 candles of Kwanzaa. So if I was to say Habari Gani, which means, what's the news of the day? You can say Matunda ya Kwanzaa, which means holiday of the first fruits. Okay? So that's the first portion of our lesson. Now let's move on. Let's move to the libation statement. The kikombe. Kikombe is the cup. Okay? I have a plant here that represents growth. It's green. It's evergreen pretty much. And it represents life. For us today, we would take the kikombe. You can pour some liquid. Usually you would have like hot apple cider, hot tea, like a green tea. And pre-pandemic, our family actually used to pass the kikombe. And in Africa tradition, you actually would have this type of cup. Whatever they would have, probably some handmade type of vessel with whatever liquid. And everyone takes a sip and you pass it, sip, you pass it until the full communal circle has taken the libation. For us and our family, after a while, because there was illnesses and sicknesses, colds, and you know what nots going around. This was way back in the 80s and 90s, okay? Pre-pandemic. We actually would have a live plant. And what we did was the libation would water and nourish the plant. So what I want to do now is, if you're having a ceremony, you'll start it with prayer. And once you have prayer, the libation statement is next. There is something that someone will read. It's called the libation statement. And all the information you can find online. If you just Google Kwanzaa and do your research, you'll find the appropriate materials. The libation statement, one person will read or speak, and one person will pour. If you're trusting enough and everyone is well, one person can read and one person sips, passes it, sips, passes it. Another way you can do this is you can give everyone a cup of liquid, a small little cup of liquid. And as we read, you can take a sip, okay? And then what we also do is we pay homage to those who have gone before us. This is an awesome part of what our family did, was as one is reading the statement, another is pouring, and it might sound confusing a little bit, but while one is reading, you pour. Whoever wants to at any given time, mention a name of an ancestor, someone who has gone already away before us. It could be someone in your family. It could be someone notable, a celebrity, Black history, whoever you want to name that has already passed away, contributing to the African American society. Okay? So the libation statement is this. It is tradition to pour libation in remembrance of the ancestors on all special occasions, okay? So that's what it is. The libation statement, and I'm going to pour a little bit and read at the same time. Let's see if it works. For the motherland, cradle of civilization. For the ancestors and their indomitable spirit. For the elders from whom we can learn much. For our youth who represent the promise for tomorrow. For our people, the original people. For our struggle and in remembrance of those who have struggled on our behalf. For umoja, the principle of unity, which should guide us in all that we do. For the Creator who provides all things great and small. That's the libation statement. Then you can carry on with remembering those who have gone before you. For me right now, I will say homage to my grandparents, my great-grandmother Lucienne Jones, my great-grandmother Minerva Dimry Taylor, my grandmother Elnora Taylor, my grandfather Rafe Sr. Taylor, my mother Mildred Taylor Davis. And it goes on and on. Okay, so that's the Kikombe, the libation statement. The next thing you would do in your program is a song. And the first song out of all songs is the Negro National Anthem. You will sing how many ever verses of that you want. There's 3 verses. The Negro National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, which was created by James Weldon Johnson. Again, you can go online. You can print out copies of the Negro National Anthem so that everyone at your program or your household or whatever the event is has a copy so they can learn the words. As many years as I've been singing it, I don't know all the words still, but I'm not ashamed to say. So I'm going to do one verse of it. All right? Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Okay. Our family actually used to sing a few different songs, and they were called Negro spirituals. And this was part of bringing everybody together. The kids, everyone in the group can sing. Whether or not you know the words, you can sing. So a few of these songs, one was Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, We Shall Overcome, Kumbaya. Those are 3 of the songs my family always sang as Negro spirituals. And you can sing those songs right after the national anthem, the Black National Anthem, or you can sing them in intervals on different days that you're celebrating, whatever you choose, okay? You can sing other songs too, it's up to you. But these are songs that the kids can learn and learn about Black history and African American culture. So now we go into the 7 principles. This is pretty much how you would carry on with your celebration. And at this point, you either can have a facilitator. What we used to do, because our family is quite large, each family would, like, okay, let's say my mom had 7 sisters and brothers. And back then, there were 7 sisters and brothers, pretty much, maybe 5 of the 7, plus extended family members, we would celebrate 7 days, a program a day. And we would have those 7 families or leads, okay? My mom would be one, my aunts, my uncles, and then a couple of cousins. Everybody would take a principal. So what principal you want? What principal you want? What day you want? What day you want? We had to go, we were all working, we had kids. So we're trying to figure out, okay, what day am I available to do what? And we would go from house to house for 7 days and celebrate Kwanzaa. And it was something that we looked forward to for so long. For so many years, we went house to house for 7 days. If you're in this family and you're watching this video, you know what I'm talking about. It was exciting to be at work and working so hard. And I worked 8 to 5, get up at 5 o'clock and be like, oh, it's Kwanzaa, let me run home, right? And back then, we actually used to make meals every night. We'll talk about the feast, the Karamu, the feast. But we actually cooked a meal every night. It was more like a potluck because we all worked. There was just a couple of people retired back then. And you were hungry and you had kids. So instead of trying to rush home and cook for your family, maybe in advance, you know that your house is either going to be the host house or you're going to another house. So in advance, you try to plan a meal, cook it, and then when you get home, you got your casserole dish or whatever, your salad, whatever you bring in, the bread, the drinks, and throw it in the car, throw the kids in the car, and everybody take off and go to wherever the celebration is. So we did that for 7 days. Then after so many years, everybody was getting older and tired. we cut it down to like 3 days. And what we did was put together like 3 principles on one day, 3 principles on one day, and then the seventh principle or the last principle one day. So we can have it 3 days, 3, 6, 7. Okay. So your variation could be anything like that. Okay. So the last few years that we celebrated Kwanzaa, which the last year may have been about 2007, maybe, we did all 7 principles in one day. And that was always on New Year's Day. The 7th day, we celebrated all 7 principles. So I'm going to design a program, a 1-day program for you right now. We've already started the program, right? What did we start with? Prayer. I didn't start with prayer, but that's what you start with. We started with a libation statement and a song. And now we're going to celebrate the first principle, which is umoja, unity. The first principle is celebrated on December 26th. Umoja, unity, means to strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. So, when you're celebrating unity, that means one. Whoever has this principle has to create something around unity that everyone can participate in. And pretty much what we would do, if it was me with Umoja, I would come up with some type of icebreaker, like some kind of game, charades, that everyone could play and be one. Okay? Learn from it, whatever it is, charades, an icebreaker, someone getting to know each other. Everybody stand if you have on blue shoes. Okay. Everybody sit down if you have on white socks, right? So everyone can kind of get acquainted with each other, get to know each other. If your favorite color is red, stand up. Okay? If your favorite color is green, stand up. Right? So that's umoja. Figuring out some type of game icebreaker that everyone that's present can participate in, because it says to strive for and maintain unity, be one. So that's umoja. That's your first day principle, December 26th. Your second day on December 27th, but again, if this is one day, you celebrate the first principle, and then someone gets up and announce Okay, we're moving into principle 2, Kujichagulia, which means self-determination. Second principle, to define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. Self-determinations. This principle is really good for sharing, letting people talk, recapture moments throughout this whole year where they had experienced self-determination to determine something, to make a decision to move forward on something, to define themselves with someone or with something, and to speak out for themselves at some event somewhere. Maybe it was the first time doing a presentation in a classroom, in high school and middle school, maybe working with a group and they had to do their part and speak, or maybe it's just that you have children, and I worked as a middle school counselor for years and in ministry for years with youth, that they have a conflict, and how did they solve that and resolve the conflict? Self-determination. So if you're encouraging the kids to participate, you sometimes have to give them ideas, because otherwise they sit and they're quiet and they think, this is just for the adults. There's nothing here for us. So you have to remember, we're cherishing our youth and reverencing our elders. Your elders definitely have something to share about self-determination. You always start with your elders first when you're doing a sharing concept of a principle. Okay? Because storytelling is awesome. Maybe for your self-determination, it's a storytelling. Okay? And maybe with this one, if you have a large group, you can break off into groups. If you're in someone's home or using a center, and that group can go that room, that corner, this corner, and do storytelling. And then you come back as a whole, and you can have the young ones recap the story and share it with the whole group if someone's brave enough. That's an idea for principle number 2 on December 27th, Kwanzaa, Kujichagulia, which is self-determination. Okay, we're moving into principle 3, which will be celebrated on December 28th. And it's Ujima. Ujima. Okay? Ujima. Collective work and responsibility to build and maintain our community together, and to make our brothers and sister problems our problems, and to solve them together. So collective work and responsibility is not saying you are a psychologist, a psychiatrist, or a doctor. It's saying you are a member of a group, a community, a family, and when there is a problem, we have the responsibility to try to help each other solve that problem. We don't want to take their problem and make it ours, but if there's some type of way we can help, that's what we're responsible for as a group. So here, when you're working on your Kwanzaa program and you're trying to think of an activity for Ujima, what's awesome, and I did this at a school, as a group project at school, I have puzzles. I have 4 tables. So how large is your group? You have 4 people? Maybe you want 1 table and 4 people work together. If you have 20 people, maybe you want 4 tables and 5 people work together. I have puzzles. It could be kid puzzles, like 20 pieces, big giant puzzles, not like 500-piece puzzle. No, something simple, a kid puzzle on each table. And you time the tables. Everybody starts at the same time. You turn the puzzle pieces over so they cannot see them. And it's their responsibility to work together to solve the puzzle and put it together in a certain amount of time. So what you have to do in advance is the puzzle yourself and see how long it takes you to put it together, okay? If it's 1 minute or 2 minutes, That's what the whole group gets. So you have these tables in the room, okay? Or if you have one big table, just portion it out to the 5 people or 4 people, 2 on each side. Okay, so the puzzle is upside down, and you say, okay, we have a problem here. We need a puzzle put together, and you all have to work as a group and manage it and put it together in 1 minute. All 4 people. It's like, remember Soul Train? You guys used to watch Soul Train when they did Soul Train board, right? 2 people had to put the words together, and after they got together, they was free to dance, right? So on this, the puzzle pieces are there. You say, okay, go, 1 minute. And all 4 people have to try to put that puzzle together and finish it before the time is up. So you got 4 groups of people working frantically. Adults, children too. Everybody. You mix them together, okay? Children here, adults here. Children, adults. And that could be a program for Ujima. And it turns out to be very fun. And you'll be surprised who can work with who and who cannot work with who. All right, so now we have Ujama'a. Day 4, Principle 4, Ujama'a, December 29th, Cooperative Economics. We know cooperative and we know economics. You say, are you cooperating? That means, are you working with me or not? Economics is what? Everybody say economics is dollars, huh? Or money, or just dollar cents. Cooperative economics, to build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses, and to profit from them. First, I must say, everybody is not designed to be a business owner or an entrepreneur. You might feel like you have the entrepreneurial spirit, but that may not be for you. So cooperative economics, again, we're working together. If we know of Black-owned businesses, it's our responsibility to patronize them. That's where we should be shopping first. But it doesn't always happen that way, but that's what we should do. And if we're aware of creditable, reputable businesses that are Black-owned, minority-owned, okay, we should patronize them first. That's cooperative economics. To build and maintain our own stores first, shops, and then other businesses, and to profit together from them. So if you're doing a fundraiser, there's a particular organization that everybody probably knows. I'm not going to name drop. You can buy cards and calendars from. So that's an awesome organization to purchase the items from. It's Black-owned. And then there's other places. There's clothing places. A lot of people do online shopping. So are you sure it's Black-owned? Because you see Black on the ad. Are they Black-owned? Do your research first. And that's what cooperative economics is all about. Principle 5 on December 30th is Nia, and Nia is purpose. To make as our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. How do we even know what the traditional greatness is of our people? I can tell you one thing is self-confidence, self-determination. So even if we're not talking about a whole community, start with your own family and your own children, okay? With purpose, start in your own house, right? Build up those and teach them, what does it mean for our people to have traditional greatness, right? Our people, African Americans, okay? What does it mean? How do you have traditional greatness? What did our ancestors lean on for them to have traditional greatness? What did they pass down to us as a legacy? So if you have Nia here and you're trying to create a program around purpose, with this one, we did more like, again, a lot of talking. Graduates from high school, college, okay? Those were the leaders that did the talking this night. Nia, purpose. How did they maintain their dignity through all those classes and homework and assignments and grades, right? So that pretty much, it could be like a career day on this one, purpose. You have people in your family with certain careers where they had to get an education. Or you have people such as myself. I didn't start out with a great education, but I moved up the ranks and then I got an education and got a degree. So different stories. That's self-determination and purpose kind of cross over each other. But again, it's more sharing and talking and presenting and letting people see you, the truth in you. That's purpose, okay? So that's Nia. Your sixth principle is Kuumba. This one is always my favorite because it's creativity, and I love to be creative. So if I was the lead on Kuumba, you know we're going to do something fun. So Kuumba is to do always as much as we can in the way that we can in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than when we inherited it. So imagine this means I come to the program on that day one way, but when I leave, I want to be enhanced. I want to be leaving out better than when I came in. That's Kuumba, creativity. What can you do in a program with Kuumba? Oh, we did so many things. We did group work. This was one of my creations. We put people in group. A lot of times at our Kwanzaas, we had like 100 people, 50 to 100 people on any given night. And towards the end, people would fizzle off, but by day 6, Kuumba, creativity, people were coming back. So you had to have something fun. We did poetry. We put people in groups and we gave them words like famous, a word of famous. Okay, come up with a rap using the word famous and rhyming words. Okay, write a poem on what it means to be young, gifted, and black. Okay, so you can do all kinds of things. With the kids, you can have coloring pages and have them color. I have some coloring pages, but I don't have them right here to show you. You can print out Kwanzaa coloring pages. So it will have the kanara, it might have the bunzi, the corn, it might have the crops, the mazoa. It could have various things and they could color it based on what they feel the color should be, creativity. We've done so many things. We did head wraps. So the material that you see here can be used for head wraps. One time I have an aunt, she's very good at that. She wrapped all of our hats, you know, with the African head wrap. So creativity can allow you to do so many things. You can bring drums, drumsticks, a tambourine. You can create a music ensemble with the group on something with instruments. So many things you can do around Kuumba. So think about it. This is awesome. Thank you for checking in again. This is Price Mixing It Up. We're almost done, but thank you for hanging in there and not hanging up, okay? This is the seventh principle, y'all. Don't go nowhere. January 1st, the seventh day, New Year's Day, you celebrate Imani. Imani means faith. How many people you know name Imani, right? I know quite a few. Imani means faith. To believe with all our hearts in our parents, our teachers, our leaders, our people, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. Okay? So, do you believe? All this I've been talking about, your ancestors, your elders, your children, your community, your home, you as an individual, do you believe? Do you believe you have traditional greatness? What do you believe? Okay, that's what faith is all about. Faith is belief. And faith is belief in action. What are you doing about it, right? So, with Imani, that was always the more spiritual portion where we would have our family in our program would have maybe one of the ministers in the family, one of the prayer warriors, one of the Bible scholars, and not even just those that really know the Word of God, but just somebody who has overcome greatly, from the depths to the heights. And they got a testimony, illness, come over something, not having nothing to having something. Or maybe even just went from here and went down. But the faith of them in the group, they helped them stay above, right? So Imani again can be a program where it could be song, it could be dance, praise dance, whatever you think, stepping, faith to believe that you can overcome something, Imani. That's your seventh principle. All right? So pretty much that's a program. The program now has ended. We've celebrated all 7 principles. And now everybody is feeling good about something. They know that this is not the end. These 7 principles follow you throughout the year. It's not a New Year's resolution that you adopt today and leave tomorrow. These principles we're going to revisit at the end of 2024. If you're on this page, you can look back at the end of 2022 and you'll see Kwanzaa presentation from me. So this is 2023 Kwanzaa presentation. Thank you for checking in and hanging here. But now we have to talk about something. The feast is the Karamu. And that's the celebration of every principle is giving admiration to the elders. If you wanted to give out like certificates to people who participated, you can do like who was on time every day, who was the last person every time, who participated the most, who participated the least. You give everyone from the bottom to the top something and acknowledge them. Not to say, oh, you didn't do nothing, but we're glad you're here. And next time, guess what? Okay? You'll come back. Give every child a gift. Okay? Whatever it is. If there's extra children, always bring at least 5, 6 extra gifts, because by the 7th day, other kids are so inspired, they want to bring their friends. And believe me, some of the teenagers even bring a friend. So make sure that there are extra gifts for everyone. Towards the end of our Kwanzaa, my family started bringing their Christmas gifts, because maybe we didn't see each other during the week and they brought Christmas gifts. That's not always a good idea, because then you have this family over here got 10, 12 gifts, and then they have these kids over here that got the one gift from Kwanzaa. So it's not a good idea for you to bring your Christmas gifts. Do that another time. But every child, and maybe every adult, what you could do is every adult brings a gift. Even if it's 2 adults in a house, both adults bring a gift for a child. And don't put a name on it. And every child will receive something. Okay? If you want to reverence your elders, I don't recommend asking for donations or money, but if you're facilitating the whole program, you might want to just invest and buy them a flower or something, like a rose, or just a little rose bush, a small something, not anything large. But the paper certificates for some adults, teenagers, or whoever participated, make notes during the week. You have to make notes and keep up with things. So that's my recommendation right there. You can have a really fun program, and it can be an everlasting program. My family celebrated Kwanzaa, mostly 25 years, possibly. I can't even guess right now how many years it was. Maybe something like that. And I'm telling you, I was the facilitator 20 of that 25 years. Okay. So the feast is a potluck. Everybody brings something. Remember I said if you every day, everyone's going to bring something that's coming. If they know they're coming to Kwanzaa, they should be bringing a dish or something to participate. On the 7th day, only this happens the 7th day. Remember, libation only happens the 1st day. The 7th day, the farewell statement is: strive for discipline, dedication, and achievement in all you do. Dare struggle and sacrifice and gain the strength that comes from this. Build where you are and dare leave a legacy that will last as long as the sun shines and the water flows. Practice daily umoja, kujichagulia, ujima, ujamaa, nia, kuumba, and imani. And may the wisdom of the ancestors always walk with us. May the year's end meet us laughing and stronger. May our children honor us by following our example in love and struggle. And at the end of this year, may we sit again together in larger numbers and with greater achievement and closer to liberation and a higher level of human life. At the end of this statement, everyone in unison, back to Umoja unity, will lift their hands, reach up, clench their fist, and bring it down. It's like you're reaching up for prosperity and you're bringing it to you. Okay? And when you do that, everybody does it together 7 times. 1 time for each principle. Okay? And you say it all together, the word Harambe. Harambe. Okay? Let's do it. Harambe. 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 That's it. You break off and you go to the table and fix your plate. Harambe means may we grow closer together, may we be stronger together. We see you next time in a better place. We see you next time. Greetings. It means everything positive. All right? That's it. That's Kwanzaa, y'all. And guess what? Again, thank you for checking in with Price Mixing It Up. I'll see you next time in the room. Can I get a whoop, whoop? All right. Can I get a whoop, whoop?